Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Greetings and welcome to episode 191 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
My name is Crazy.
Crazy? Why are you so crazy? What's up?
It's just been a rough day.
Yeah.
It's Friday for you and I, so I have to be honest because I know that there's listeners that like us, and it's a group that Joe puts on. Joe, tonight I'm drinking tequila. Can you spell tequila correctly? On the rocks, straight up. Goodbye.
So by the time this airs, if no one's heard from Barb, please reach out to us at Yowzer. Yeah, there you go. So there you go. I don't even want to know what's going on then.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's just move on, shall we?
Okay. Sure.
Let's not make it any worse.
Oh, and it's only going to get better at 5:15. Let me tell you.
Can't come soon enough.
Nope.
So, Thanksgiving is this week, and let's make a note that the Tuesday after Thanksgiving is also known as Giving Tuesday. And what better way to show thanks than to give back to the industry that we all love? The Foundation for Dental Lab Technology is a great place for us to give on Giving Tuesday. So head over to dentallabfoundation.org.
How do you stop right there? How do you even know that it's Giving Tuesday?
Other people tell me. I don't know these things.
How do you know everything? I mean, like, really, Giving Tuesday? I completely agree, and I love it. Do it, everybody, but I just don't know how the hell you know all this stuff. So, well, you just keep pulling out your ass, just saying. There you go, Joe.
So, there you go. It's the Joe episode.
You'll like this intro.
So, do us a favor when you're in that giving mood after the Thanksgiving, head over to dentallabfoundation.org and give some money to an organization that provides grants and scholarships to technicians to increase education and strengthen the industry by building strong and talented dental technicians. Giving Back Tuesday. Something Barb never knew about.
Yeah, but I give a hell of a lot back, so.
You do.
It's just not Tuesday. It's every damn day.
Every damn day. But speaking of the foundation, Barb and I have been selling podcast t-shirts in the past where we donate 100% of the profits towards the Foundation of Dental Technology. I got bored and I came up with a new t-shirt design.
Oh my God, did you really?
Do you remember the Dare to Resist Drugs and Violence campaign that was real popular back in the 80s?
No.
You don't remember this? Well, maybe you should have. Maybe you would have remembered it if you didn't participate. Well, anyways, It was hugely popular, and they had this great logo with bright red letters that said Dare, and it was real popular when I was in, like, middle school. And then in high school, we all wore their shirts, ironically. But this time, the shirts will have, of course, the podcast logo on the front, but on the back, it will say Dare to say no to bad impressions.
Oh, boy, you are so smart.
Isn't it clever?
Very crafty. I wanted to say clever, but I couldn't come up with it. But yes, it's super clever.
So head over to voicesfromthebench.com for a link to purchase the shirt in either a long sleeve t-shirt or a hoodie, or find it on our Facebook or Instagram page. Let the world know that you are a technician that says no to bad impressions.
Oh, God. Move along.
Okay, here we go. This week, we take the world back to late October, when Barb and I were at the Whitmix Digital Forum in Louisville, Kentucky. Sitting at the Preet booth, we talked to many, many people that weekend. Some vendors, some attendees. They all sat down and talked about many things about this industry. But we thought we would start off all of the conversations with a double talk with some folks from Whitmix. First up, we talked to the leading lady herself, Ann Steinbach.
Oh, yeah.
Ann sits down to talk about the history of Whitmix, becoming CEO of the family business, and some other great stories from days past. And then we sit down with Pat Higgins and Bryce Hiller, both from the marketing department. So recently, Whitmix announced the Vera One Digital for clinicians. Well, of course, our industry did what every industry does when something new comes out and exploded with rumors and misinformation. So when we had the opportunity to sit down with Pat and Bryce to talk about exactly what the Vera One Digital is and how it can actually help doctors get digital and still use their favorite labs. So join us live from the Whitmix Digital Forum with Ann Steinbach, Pat Higgins, and Bryce Hiller. Did you know that most in-lab MCX5 users that have ordered BURS from Grow3X once keep on ordering Grow3X BURS over and over again?
No way. You know what? I didn't know that. Why do you think that is, Elvis?
Well, I think it's because Grow3X BURS are engineered by some of the same folks who have been providing BURS to some of the largest U.S. production labs for years.
Did you also know that most Roland and DGShape users have no idea what they are missing out on?
Well, I think I can guess what they're missing out on.
You are right. Most Roland and DGShape users have absolutely no idea how good and great Grow3X BURS are because they think that the Grow3X BURS are only for the in-lab systems.
Well, they are wrong.
To give Roland and DGShape users the opportunity to find out for themselves how great the BURS are for their machines, Grow3X is now offering a buy 3, get 2 BURS free special. This is exclusively for Voices from the Bench listeners, you guys, so please go support them.
So all you simply have to do is go to the Grow3X website. That's grow3x.com, click on BURS, then select Roland and DGShape, add 5 BURS of your choice to your cart, click on checkout. Enter the discount code B3G2. That is B as in boy, the number 3, G as in girl, the number 2, BURS, and check out.
That's awesome. You know what? We actually have a code, Elvis. Boom! That was easy, guys. Go for it. Free BURS, use them, and use them well.
And we appreciate your support of the podcast, Grow3X.
Thank you.
Voices from the Bench. The interview.
It still works. It just looked uncomfortable.
I could only hear half of you. Okay.
Hopefully the good half, which is me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just getting
All right.
closer. Okay.
This is a super big honor.
Yay.
Here at the Whitmix Digital Forum 2021 in Louisville, Kentucky, we have the one, the only, Ann Steinbach.
Oh, that's sweet of you all. I'm glad you're
How
here.
are you? Wait a minute. I always told myself if I introduced you, I was going to call you the professional Whitmix tour guide.
Tour guide. That's right.
And why is that?
Because when I toured Whitmix when I came here 2 years ago, all of a sudden, Ann's giving a tour.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, this is quite the treatment we're getting here.
That's one of the things I love to do is I really love to show who our people are and what we do. And our door is always open. You're always welcome to come visit.
That's awesome. What really surprised me is how much Whitmix felt like a lab inside of it.
Yep.
Really?
It just has I don't know.
I've never been there, of course. I
Well,
would love to.
next time.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a well used, but I don't want to say dirty. I don't want to say that. It just has that lab feel, like people are actually working, and I don't know.
They probably actually are, my
There's
friend.
a lot of stone being made there, so it has that kind of stone feel. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it.
How long have you guys been in that building?
We moved in like 1970.
Wow. Okay.
And it was a General Mills flour plant. So they had the big mill flour like silos, and then they blended it and they packaged it into those, baking bags of flour. And it's 26 acres, and it's right next to the football stadium and the airport.
The building is 26 acres?
The property.
Okay.
And so, and then
it's a big building.
It's been good for us. It's really.
Where were you before?
Before that, we had 2 locations, and one of them was built in 1928. Just to give you a clue, that was the new building back then, and that was about 10 minutes from where we are now. And now it's no longer there. That's Urban Renewal took that building, and then we had a factory down on 22nd Street, which is in a pretty tough area of town, but that was we didn't have space in both of those buildings to run it, so we had 2 locations. And when we moved to our current location, it put everything under one roof. That was really the first time that we did both the chemical products and the mechanical products with one factory.
Sure.
Which is pretty unusual for a company to do both of those technologies.
In one building.
So somebody here told us you guys are celebrating your 100th year anniversary.
102 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you take us way back?
Way
Who founded
back.
it
Well,
and how?
you know,
and
I wasn't born back then. But
You don't remember.
So, and I probably have like the lore that, this is what I've been told, it's been passed down through the generations. But my grandfather was an accountant, and that was his training, and he worked in a distillery. And in 1919.
For bourbon?
For bourbon,
here?
Yeah, in Kentucky. And then, so he was looking for another job because they passed the Prohibition law. So hence he had a brother who was, my great uncle, was a denture technician and had a Falls City Dental Specialties. He had a dental lab in Louisville. And so they put together this inlay casting system in 1919, and they went on the road, and it was for, basically at that point, it was dentists who were doing inlay castings with, investment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then this hand spatulator that whipped the mix.
I was going to ask you that. Oh.
And it had a little furnace, kind of like a propane, furnace. And that became very popular. And when people, they did have phones at that time, so they started calling up asking for the whip mixer. And that's when they incorporated in 1925. They incorporated under the name Whip Mix Corporation.
Do you still have one of those early kits?
Yep.
I bet.
Yep.
Wow.
And so that was really the beginning of it. And so it was 4 brothers who were working together back in the 20s.
All with the same last name, Steinbach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then over the years, then when he came back to them, my father came back to the company, and he was a mechanical engineer by training after the war, so 1940s. He came back to be part of the business. So there's 7 kids in my family. And so my dad was very busy with the family. And then, so in 1956, I was born, and then my grandfather then died that same year. So it gives you an idea. I never really knew him.
Yeah.
Just that piece of it is he was running the business, and then when he died suddenly, my father then took over the business. So that was kind of a tough thing for a young engineer, but he really modernized the whip mix hand spatulator, and he put a motor on it, and it became mechanized it, and then it was.
This is all in the 50s?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
50s. And then the investments then, instead of just doing gold inlay castings, you started doing the palladium and the non-precious. So then we got into our phosphate investments. So that just, he just continued the development of different, how dentistry was changing. He had, I think, the real skill that my father had was he had the ability to hire really smart individuals, and they stayed with him, with the business for, I think one of them worked for 63 years with us. That was our chemist, Mr. Nyman, who formulated literally those first products, and then all the way through, I think he died in the 80s. So he died in his 80s. He did all the formulas for our dye stones, our gypsums, our investments. So, that's a long time to have a person work with you.
I bet you're still using some of that stone that guy did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all based on it. He always had these code names for our formulas because it was pretty secretive, but he never really. We didn't put the real name on the on the raw materials. He'd call it sneezy and sneaky, and anyway, that was probably before OSHA and having to do the material safety sheets. But now,
was there a lot of competition back then for dental lab stuff? I mean,
we were just a tiny little company, but you might be familiar with Kerr was doing.
Yeah, okay, I've heard that name. Yeah,
and then R&R, Ransom and Randolph was back then, and so anyway, it was.
They're not around anymore.
Yeah, well, actually, they've been brought back.
Who, Kerr?
No, Ransom and Randolph.
Oh, really?
But then Kerr's been sold, under a different name, But we sold. We took it. My grandfather took it on the train, and the history is that we found his mash recipe for bourbon in the archives, and we think he was probably also
moonlighting the bourbon,
selling the medicinal special liquid.
That's fantastic.
And I don't really doubt that, because that's really how a lot of families who were in the bourbon industry, once they closed down the distilleries, you had to do something.
So he was selling it during the probation, is what you're saying.
I think so.
Yeah, nice.
But we haven't bottled the mash. I think that's probably would be fun to do.
That's got to be coming, though.
That would be fun to do.
Oh, the original recipe, you have it,
no.
Bring it back. Wow.
No. So, and not that anyone in my family has that chemistry background or anything, but not yet.
Interesting.
Super. So did you know, at an early age, that you were going to become a part of the family business, or was that later on for you?
For me, it was very much later, because I have to say my parents I never felt that it was expected. And they also, so it was always totally our decision whether to go in the business or not. And then the other thing I would say is they gave each of the 7 kids the gift of education. So we could study anything we wanted, wherever we wanted. And that's really a gift that is
especially for
really
7
treasured.
kids.
Yeah, so I went off to college. I studied architecture. I married an architect, and I was much more of the left-handed person in the family, and more creative than engineering oriented. And then I made a decision after I had my first child, and I thought, I was kind of getting ready to get back closer to family. I was in Baltimore, and then I saw my brothers going back to Louisville and thinking, gosh, what are they doing down there? What are they doing in that factory? And then so we made a decision, Jeff and I, to move to Louisville. And my dad, he gave me a part-time job just to kind of
get your feet wet a little bit.
What were you doing? Tour guides?
Well, I've always been on the marketing and sales side.
Okay.
When I was when I started the company. And that one reason was because there was no marketing department at the company. And I thought, well, I wasn't at least step on anybody else's toes, so I did that. And it's really been an interest I've always had, even with architecture. I love the programming and, figuring out how to, solve problems and help people.
Sure.
So that really, I guess I came back in the 80s, and my brother Alan was president at that point, and I had 2 other brothers who worked in the company, David and Andy, and we each had our areas of expertise. And
did you all get along pretty well?
Yeah. It was in terms of making a decision, it was really special to be able to be there when my dad was still coming into the office, and he wasn't really in day-to-day.
Sure.
Operations responsibilities. He was really good about turning that over, but he was there every morning, and he would walk around and just visit with you. And that mentoring
leadership.
just really, that was really special. I had a couple of years where he was in good health and he could be there, and we'd go to lunch together a lot.
That's great.
It's hard to replace that memory. And every time I drive in the morning, I think of how proud I am to be able to be there now.
Yeah.
So congratulations, by the way. You're president now of the company. Is that correct?
CEO.
Oh, you're CEO. You have to edit that out. So congratulations. You are now CEO of the company.
Yeah, so and that was something that happened, it's almost 2 years ago. We do have a president, so I just want to be careful. Jim Myers is our president, and he is not a family member, but we intentionally did that about 5 years ago. I think 5 or 6. I may be off on that. But Alan was ready to retire, so he passed on the president role to Jim. And Jim has been with us almost 20 years, and he was really in VP of operations at that point, and really brought in all the lean manufacturing and efficiency, and really has done a great job with our production and planning. And so it was really time to honor all his expertise. So he became president.
The first non-Steinbach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No pressure.
And he continues in that role. And then Alan had been chair and CEO, and I saw a need to have more of a family leader at the level of active in the business. And so I became the CEO, and Alan kept the chair role.
Nice.
So we worked that out, and I'm very employed. I think that was the biggest transition clarification with that the CEO is not a part-time position. It's a very full-time position. So, and especially the needs of the company is, I'm very employed and engaged and active in the planning of day-to-day things. Now, the only person that reports to me is the president, though. Just the clarity of the team is Jim's team, and that gives me time for more of the family and the shareholders and planning for what our future is. And so there's plenty to do.
Yeah. What
to
does
do.
your day-to-day look like? Is it a lot of just planning for what's to come?
Yeah, well, it is, but we have a weekly executive team meeting, so that we do have a cadence of reporting, and there's monthly, quarterly. We have our goals every quarter.
Absolutely, yep.
That leadership team meets every Wednesday, and I'm part of that, and we have, we're doing where we are to our weekly goals and budgets and what our challenges are, issues, and we're processing those issues. It's a lot of cross-functional communication, like something's on back order. Well, if the sales needs to forecast it. How all the different parts of operations have to work together. And then really that piece of it, we got through COVID together. That was a big one. That was my first year as CEO.
Good job.
We
Wow.
were meeting daily on COVID, actually.
Yeah.
So, but it's a really strong team, and there's a lot of experience just amongst, whether it's the CFO, the financial background that he brings and the planning. So my day, what I love, and you probably know because we started with the tour, is I still am very involved with the customers. All those friends I've made in the dental industry for 35 years they have my number. They can call me. I have a lot of emails, and so I really don't want to lose that contact. And I think that's really important.
I agree.
We might, we go into a lot of new technologies, but at the end of the day, what differentiates us is it is a family business, and you know who we are, and we want you to know who we are.
Yeah.
And, if you need something, you know who to call, and it may not be me that makes it happen, but I can certainly spread the word.
Absolutely.
And that's true of anyone at Whitmix. It's not like you just have to call me, but we can be very available because we're a pretty small company. When we're accessible. Our intent is to be accessible.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Customer service is amazing. Yeah. We've always heard that.
With my new job, I'm in the area kind of, and I visit labs, and so many of them have their 3Shape through you guys, and they love it.
Yeah, we're strong in the Midwest particularly.
Well, of course. It's just where you're at. Yeah.
But now, recently, we have really expanded our support to every time zone now.
Really?
And really, I think COVID stretched us to have people work remotely, work from home. And so now they're in Connecticut. They're in, I think it's Oregon or Seattle. I get them confused, those West Coast states. But down in North Carolina.
I mean, you have employees out there that handle the technical?
And really, so we can work span the hours, the time zones, and they're accessible with TeamViewer. They can log on and see the computer, issues you're
6
having.
6 o'clock in California is 8 o'clock here. It's getting late. I know.
So that's pretty cool. We've probably doubled our team resources and then put them in the right time zone. So I think we're a stronger company now having done that. So we still have the group in Whitmix. It's basically a one-shift production, although we've been on overtime for about the past 6 months.
Is that a good thing?
So, I think they're tired. I think it's really, we don't really want to keep doing that. I mean, it's just been, I think when the industry closed, there was a sort of a backlog. Now we're trying to fill that, fill the need.
And what were you guys doing in overtime? Like Stone? Was that?
That's a big part of it.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I always thought Stone would be like dipping by now, but
it's very stable, and I would just say that we sell overseas too, so those are big container loads, and so the orders, and now as those countries are opening up, those are big orders that come in, and it's it's kind of like the snake swallowing the rat, and we got to get it all the way through and back onto the shipping dock and blended.
I could imagine the headache of getting stone across the ocean.
But I think usually the comment I get when we're taking the tours is how clean the facility is and the blending, because we have to be very careful about the dust and the manufacturing of the gypsum. So it is a dirty, it's a dusty process, but we have all that dust control and we're busy. We're busy.
So were you part of when Whitmix started getting into the digital? Were you big into that? Because you handled it very well and positioned yourself well.
Well, I'm thank you for saying that. I feel like it's been a long haul.
I bet. Well, yeah.
But some of it really I related to because architecture had already gone through CAD/CAM. I mean, you think about you used to draw with lines. That was when I was in architecture school. Well, they went into software and CAD drawing. So I understood it conceptually. So the transition for me was, as you all as labs transitioned, I was, seeing it and then bringing it, what the need was, and then finding partners to work with. So I was I was probably in on it from the very beginning, but really bringing in people who had the knowledge to really help us sort of support it and plan ahead with it. And now I feel like we're kind of the tipping point where I consider us experts at it. I mean, I think the training and the education and that piece of it, and you just build on it, keep building on it. You start with, the level of understanding and then the next level. And now that we're into, so many of the occlusion goes into whether it's Dawson programs or Pankey or 90% of the schools use our articulators.
Yep.
Well, how they're doing that now, and there's a digital component of that and the scanning, and so we keep following it and learning as the technology changes.
Yeah.
We started with 3Shape, and they've been a great partner with us, and then we went into the 3D printers.
Yeah,
and
nice. Who chose us? Who made
made
that relationship? Because it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, it has been a great relationship.
I have not met someone that has not liked their Asiga. That's
And it's a great company. it's from Australia, so sometimes the supply chain takes a while. So they came, and I think it was when Stuart made the initial connection with them, and then they came and they visited, and then we always vet things out, and so our tech team was working with it, kind of playing with it, and so we made that decision, and it's been a great printer.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, now with the pace of technology, a new one comes out about every 18 months. So, and so that's your commitment is that technology, you just have to stay with it. And then we decided to focus on developing resins.
Sure.
Just like, what we do with the gypsums is, well, now we're a resin company. I think that the difference between Whitmix from the last generation to this generation is it's really hard to be experts in both of hardware and technology of chemicals. So we've picked the chemical formulation side of it and then picked great partners for the printers.
Well said.
I couldn't imagine being a chemical resin person. That's intense.
So, and then at this digital forum, I mean, we've had what's great about it is our team, our R&D team can come over and listen and hear and learn. And that's one reason I really like to have these type of educational events is it's not just, what we can sell the labs or doctors. It's like what Whitmix can learn from the discussions here. So it works both ways.
It's a great event.
Yeah.
And well received. Everybody's just
I think this has
buzzing.
been really successful.
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah, I see that it's already lined up for next year.
Yeah, same place.
Yep.
Nice.
I love it here.
Time.
It's great.
Yeah,
great location.
Yeah,
super close to the airport.
So there's a little story about this place. Is back when my dad was still coming into the office every day, this was where his executive team would come and have lunch. So it's kind of a retro feel to him. It's an
older hotel,
I was wondering that.
But when I was at that time, cutting grass and painting, I was on the maintenance crew, summer job. And so he would bring me with him on those Friday lunches. And they would always have a martini together, or bourbon, but I just have a lot of really great memories of having lunch with my dad, and he was bringing me along, and
at this hotel, that's cool.
That's nice.
So it goes way back.
Well, that's exciting. I'm so happy we were able to finally sit down with you.
I know. We've had this a few times.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're welcome anytime. Anybody wants to come for a tour or visit, I would love to host anyone, anytime.
Well, good luck to you and your family, and
All
thank you.
1,000 of our listeners are going to show up on Monday morning. Let's do this.
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay. All right.
But
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the event.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for the sponsorship of the podcast. You guys have been a huge
that's
part
right.
of our growth.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ann.
Bye.
in there.
Papa Charlie 29er. Papa Charlie 29er. Requesting flyby.
That's funny.
You sound like a natural.
I watched Top Gun last week.
Did you?
Yes.
The new one? Or?
Yes. My son's going as a fighter pilot for Halloween. He's
Yeah.
16 and he's never heard of Top Gun. So we watched it so he could get refreshed
The
on it.
original?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Volleyball
great.
They're getting ready to come out
Oh,
with
the
another one.
volleyball scene.
Who's
was the best
in the
ever.
new one?
Tom Cruise is
Yeah.
in it.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty
Goose is
awesome.
dead, so he's
Yeah.
not in it.
Yeah.
I miss
Yeah.
Goose.
That was sad.
Yeah. By the way, Cassandra, I hear you're telling him that you picked these shoes out. You found them online.
You're in trouble, young
You
lady.
told me
You're
at
in
Lab
trouble.
Day East, you're like, aren't they great? I made these online. Yeah, you told me they just got delivered. She brought them. Yeah, you told me you made them online.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Elvis is
And
yes.
recording.
And you can't hear what's going on in my ear too. What they're really saying. It's pretty,
The producer behind the wall there.
that's
is,
right. He's got all types of stuff he's saying.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a couple photos. No shoes, though. All right, we are day 2, Whipmix Digital Forum. Great event, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Yes.
outstanding.
Yep.
I've been to one other one, and this is by far even better.
Growing every year. We're super excited about it. Truly.
Yeah.
It's full house.
Yeah, and hope to grow
amazing.
even more next year.
Pat Higgins.
Yep.
Bryce Hiller.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Hiller.
Yep.
Two guys from Whipmix. Is this your first digital forum?
It's
Or were
my
you-
second.
You were
It's my
here.
second,
Okay, because
yeah.
I know you just started when we had you on the podcast last time.
Yep.
I wasn't sure where that fit in the thing. So
Yeah. Of course, we didn't have it last year, so I
course.
got here as soon as the forum was going on. Pretty much is when I arrived.
I was
So-
going to say it was right about that time.
Yep.
Do you know a little bit more about dental now?
You know, Elvis, I'm still drinking from that fire hose. There's no question about that. But yeah, a little bit more, a little bit to make me dangerous. I
Absolutely.
think. Yep.
So Bryce, what's your story? Just real briefly.
It's kind of all over the place a little bit. I started out in a laboratory, Ford's Dental Lab in Ohio.
Fords, they're still around.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Trey Ford, Drew Ford, and I started. I learned everything analog, and over time just started integrating digital technology, and it was a great experience. And back in, it would have been early 2019. Came to Whipmix, worked in technical services. So I was talking to our customers every day, supporting those products, and then Pat came on to our marketing. He's running our marketing and business development department, and we kind of hit it off pretty early on, just
For sure.
just in terms of how we work together. And so now I'm in the marketing department with underneath of Pat.
So you took a skilled technician doing technical and took him out of that role, which is I'm sure hard to find.
Yep.
And put him in marketing.
Yeah, and the reasoning behind that was we wanted to make sure our message made sense, and
By having a technician do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
absolutely
Makes sense,
You know,
yeah.
especially for me, Bryce has been a huge help because I don't have that background.
Yep.
So I can create a message all I want, but if it's not right and it's not hitting home for the lab or the dentist, then what's the message worth?
Sure.
And he helps a ton of that, and he's. On top of that, he's uber creative. He's made the shoes.
Yeah, I love the
That's
shoes.
right, yeah.
I saw him on Facebook this morning, and I was like, "Those are cool."
They've been a hit.
Yeah.
They've
And
been
now
a huge
everybody
hit.
has.
I'm
them
going to be
on,
honest.
So,
You know, a few years ago, carbon shoes were the big thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
These are cooler.
Yeah.
Really. They're
pretty
just
neat.
what, Vans that
They're
are.
Yeah.
Vans.
They're
Yeah.
royal
Mix all
blue, and they have whip on one and mix on the
back.
other.
And then you
Back
don't have to
there
wear those
sharp.
stupid dress shoes. At
That's
that
it.
show.
And you feel
Yeah.
It
comfortable.
can be super comfortable.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. I've had more
Smart.
people comment on them. I got to give it to Bryce. I was like, I'm a 52-year-old man. Should I be wearing a set of Vans? But
Yes.
You should.
But it's gone over well.
Absolutely.
What's next? The Whitmix skateboard?
Don't give anything away.
So how you liking the marketing?
Oh, it's great. Working underneath a Pat is, I couldn't ask for a better situation. I mean, I get to be
I
creative.
know he's sitting
and-
right here. We'll talk about
Yeah.
it later.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'll say the bad things
Yeah,
after,
yeah.
off the record. But no, it's awesome. It's awesome to be on this side of the industry and get to help with direction, and I get to be creative. I mean, I get to really, really do what I love, and it's an awesome experience.
Sure.
Are you guys both out of Kentucky right here?
Yep,
Okay.
we're here in Louisville.
So you moved from there to here?
From Ohio.
Wow.
Yep.
That's not much of a change.
Yeah,
When
I
you're in
was
this
gonna say.
area,
Yeah,
Ohio,
it was
Illinois,
just a hop, skip, and a jump.
yeah,
I'm a
there's
stone's
not much
throw
of a-
away.
There's
We're
not
all-
much of a difference.
And somehow we're all related somehow. I guess.
Well, that's
We're not
kinda
gonna talk
That's
about
right,
that.
that's right,
We're all like six cousins.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So Whitmix announced at the ADA event, I believe, that you've opened up a whole kind of digital workflow for the clinician side.
Correct.
I think a lot of rumors blossomed out of that, as it always does.
Yeah.
Social media kind of, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So what is it?
So if you'll indulge me, let me
please.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we had been working on this for over a year and a half. Whitmix took a look at ourselves. We've been in the industry for over 100 years. The Steinbach family is, it doesn't get any better than that. Absolutely. And they challenged us to look at ourselves and see how are we going to be relevant for the next 100 years.
Sure.
Where is the industry growing? Where is it moving towards? And how do we make sure that we're a part of that? And so we literally went to work. We did an analysis with over 30 dentists across the country, asking them what's coming, where are you trying to grow to, what are you trying to do. We took all that information back. We went internally and kind of started to go to work on some things. We actually got labs involved to kind of talk about where is the lab industry going, where's that working. From that, we built out the system, the Vera One system, which is what we're going to talk about here. And then we placed all that with 10 dentists for them to kind of play with it, beta test it, and we called it the Frankenstein project, where we, super glue and tape and just enough smoke and figure out, stick some electricity to it and let's see if it works. And coming out of that, we feel like we've developed something that's pretty exciting. We wanted to launch in July. We were hoping to launch in July. Supply chain and everything going on has been just brutal, right?
Yeah.
And so our big deal was we were going to launch at the ADA. Well, we still supply chain, all those things going on. It's still been a little bit tight for us to do it at the ADA. So we decided to do a reveal at the ADA instead of actual launch.
Yeah.
And from that, we had an opportunity with a couple publications to do a Facebook Live scenario.
Okay,
from that.
yeah, sure.
And I think that, hindsight being 2020 is where the message kind of got lost.
Yep.
And what reality is, we've gone to work at building a clinical solution to be able to send a digital workflow to their lab. Mm-hmm. This entire thing is built for the doctor and the lab to work together as digital dentistry grows. So, and I wanted to make sure Bryce was here because with Bryce's background, having lab background and working with dentists, he can speak to exactly as well as I can, exactly how beneficial this is for the labs and the doctors. But you've heard just in the last 2 days where the industry is going, and digital dentistry is here, and labs are near and dear to our heart. So what we wanted to make sure happened was, out of this workflow, how do we make it easy for, as digital dentistry grows, that these dentists can send that digital work to their lab, and
any lab they want.
Any lab they want.
Yeah.
Any lab they want. We partnered with Evident Labs solely for the purpose of, if a lab is not digital and the doctor wants to do some dental work, well, they have a lab that they can work with,
which would be Evident.
Nice.
Evident. But if their lab is digital, then
it's seamless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they are part of the process of actually, when we sell the system, we will bring the lab in and set them up into the system immediately. Mm-hmm. So, and I'll kind of give you an overview of the system. So we, when we interviewed all those doctors, what we asked was, what were the barriers of entry to digital for you all? What makes it hard? Of course,
$30,000 scan.
There you go.
Right.
Right.
Hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They didn't want to spend that much money on a digital workflow, right? Also, barrier to entry. Good Lord, they didn't want to have to learn CAD.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Huge
Why
learning
would
curve.
they?
Yeah.
Exactly.
They don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, now I got to call so-and-so, and I got to get this piece of equipment from that person and this piece of equipment for that person. Materials, I got to learn how many materials that go with what.
I always
there's
ran
just
into
no way.
doctors
Yeah.
well, if I buy X brand scanner, are you going to be able to work with it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Am I going to
Right.
be able to use this with that? Will it work with my comb beam? I mean, it was just
Way
like,
too many questions.
Yeah.
Well, and one big thing that you guys obviously know, having been in the lab for so long, if you have, let's say you have like a 3D printer from one company, you buy the resin from another company and software from another company. If you have a problem, they're all going to point the finger at each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's
true.
It happens all the time. Like I've
Yeah.
had so many conversations where that's just so prevalent, and that's really what we're kind of trying to solve with this Vera One package. Is these doctors, it's just so much more seamless because they have one person they can call to get the answer, because we're providing them with all of that. So it really is pretty awesome. The one thing that I really like about this package is we have a file transfer service called Whitmix Cloud. It's very similar to 3Shape Communicate.
Okay.
So this is the mechanism that allows the doctor to send to whatever lab they want to. The service is actually completely free for laboratories. You don't have to pay a cent to get your cases. You can get your cases as...
well, you're already better than half of the scanners.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that's pretty huge. And the scanner software, Whitmix Clinic, can actually export 3Shape files, ExoCAD files, DenoWings files, as well as raw STL, OBJ, and PLY.
Okay.
So you left out in-lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, that's not...
It's common.
Yeah.
That's out of the thing. I just want to make sure we're clear because there's a lot of in-lab labs out there.
Yeah, I don't know if that was...
It's a hard
I
system
doubt it was
to crack into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard to integrate into.
Sure.
So, I'm really actually excited because, it truly is completely open. And I think that's kind of where the disconnect was. I think people were under the impression that we were actually going to be doing designing.
Yes,
we're
I
not.
did hear that.
Yeah. Zero.
I did hear that.
We're doing zero design. Yeah.
It really, the whole, again, goal was the biggest concern for doctors was having to learn CAD and do design. So we need the lab for that, right?
Exactly.
And we want to make sure that keeps that lab connection there. We went to work on making sure, Bryce kind of alluded to it, we had the printer software built around making sure it works with the scanner, right? We had our materials that we've already validated on the entire workflow. Yep. All right, our washing system and our curing unit all work within the system. So a dentist doesn't have to learn anything. What he has to learn is 2 days of training on the scanner and how to turn the piece of equipment on and go.
Yeah.
So the system starts with the scanner. We have it's the Vera 1 system. The scanner is called the Vera Pulse.
So it's a whole new scanner. I mean, it's not okay.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, everything we designed and engineered around what we're calling an ecosystem.
Okay.
This is an ecosystem that all works with each other. You don't have to worry about like we talked earlier, does one piece of equipment work with another? Does the material work with the system? All that has been pre-done.
Yeah.
So it starts with the scanner, the Vera Pulse. Then we have the Vera Echo printer. And then we have our washing unit.
Why didn't you do the Asiga?
We have a great relationship with Asiga, for sure. A lot of it was a price point scenario at this point in time. One of the big concerns was, does a doctor want to spend X amount of money? We were able to, with our buying power and with our relationships, be able to provide a package that's $42,000
for a scanner and a printer.
Yeah, that's
wait
nice.
a second.
Yeah, you're not done.
You get it.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, exactly.
Billy Mays here.
Yeah. You get a scanner, you get a printer, you get a washing unit, the Vera World, and you get a curing unit, the Vera Lux.
$42K.
For $42K.
Nice.
Yeah. And on top of that, we will, which is, I was so proud earlier. Dr. Shearer got up and talked about the amount of support that Whitmix does and how we're known in the industry for it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's, that brings, I know, a tear to all of Whitmix's heart because we work so hard on that. And one thing that we wanted to make sure happened with this system was we knew that if a dentist received this system and it was sent out to them and here you go and, here's a book of instructions.
They're not going to use it.
They're not going to use it and they're going to fail.
Yep.
So a part of that $42,000, we're going to fly our Whitmix team out to whoever buys it in the country and give them 2 days of on-site training.
Yeah.
We're going to install every piece of the equipment. Exactly right. Them and their staff. So we're going to spend 2 days at their facility, train every single person on that entire workflow, all the materials, everything that goes with it. Then they get a year's worth of support, Whitmix support for a year, a part of it, for $42,000.
Wow.
And includes a laptop as well. I'm sorry, the scanner has a laptop as well. So you're getting, for what I want to say, the dentist that is trying to get into digital, granted, and I'm not ashamed to say, our scanner is not a Trio scanner today. But this is an entry-level general practitioner.
What would you say it's comparable to?
Probably the Medit.
Okay,
close
good.
to the Medit.
I've heard nothing but good things about the Medit.
Yeah,
so.
The Medit's great.
Yeah,
and this is a great scanner, and that's kind of what we were trying to compare to. We don't want a dentist to have to spend $35,000.
But also that Trio itself is what, $80,000.
Right.
I don't know for sure, but it's expensive.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And
you get what you pay for.
One, to target the general practitioner that's looking to get in here and not have to spend an arm and a leg. They're going to get the Whitmix support. We have been trained on every piece of equipment material there is, so it's one phone call to call us, and we will get you up and running.
So what are they printing?
Models is going to be probably what most of them are going to be printing primarily at the beginning. That's kind of, anyone that buys a printer, that's typically like the first thing you start with is models.
Yeah. Why is a dentist printing a model?
Study models, archiving, stuff like that.
Well, from my perspective, anytime we do a diagnostic case, they've got to work it up themselves. They need the upper and the lower model. They need to see the occlusion. They need to work out the function and see exactly what they need to improve on. So either we're going to do that for them or they're going to do it themselves, but they will send it to the lab for my type of lab, and then we'll do the wax up for them or the treatment planning.
Sure.
So I do think that that's something that they need.
Yep. We have an ortho resin that's qualified as well that can be pretty useful. So, I mean, things like models, they can print night guards if they want to print night guards. They can print.
Yeah, but they can't design them.
Right. So it'll go to the lab, and the lab will design.
Right.
it.
The lab will design. Yeah.
So it's kind of if they can print it, it's a send to design, and we'd send that design back, let them handle it.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, we leave that relationship up to the lab and the doctor.
Yeah.
So when you go and set up this system, and you're working with a doctor, and the doctor says, "Hey, I use Smith Dental Lab."
Mm-hmm.
Do you reach out to Smith Dental Lab and get them hooked up?
We encourage. I actually encourage the lab to come to the training.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And integrate them in literally from day one.
And I like that because so many of these companies, sorry to interrupt, but so many of these companies forget to include us on training. I can't tell you how many calls I used to get for intraoral scanning, and I had no idea what to say. Mm-hmm. Well, how do I even add your lab? I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's part of our SOP. Quite frankly, we've told all of our reps, the first call should be, once the dentist has interest, the first call should be to the lab for them to come to part of the presentation.
Awesome. Cool.
Because there's no way that this thing is going to gain traction if we were going to ask dentists to get rid of their lab.
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer.
Yep. It's not going to happen.
I guess
right? Why would anybody want that?
And as a company, we don't want. I mean, we've been working with labs for over 100 years.
Exactly.
You know?
So we built the system around that. Our system is built for the lab to be a part of it, which I think is unique.
Yep.
And exciting.
And it's not like printing is doing final crowns.
No, not today. And I'm not, I'm here to tell you, will it get there? I think it will. And I think they can print temps and crowns.
Capable of it?
Yes.
Yeah. Temps. Yeah, that's
for
genius.
Sure. Yep.
Because they're a pain in the for the lab to do
Yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
They could do their own temps.
I always hated doing temporaries
Yep.
in the lab. I mean, if the doctors want to print their temps,
too.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. I don't want to clog up my mill with PMMA.
No.
It's terrible.
Exactly right.
Yep.
So, yes, I mean, I think eventually what's out there, of course, temps, permanents, like he said, aligners, models, and, one
dentures
day, dentures. And if they ever create a material that can do, move teeth, who knows, from that side, if that's soon. But today, where are we starting? I think we're starting with what Bryce is referring to, models and probably splints, night guards, and probably some temp work.
Yep.
Yeah, let them print the models. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd rather use my printer for surgical guys.
Yeah.
Exactly
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, it's a pretty good system. Really what it comes down to is, and you guys know this, like a digital lab wants to get digital work. And, we've really been trying to piece together a solution to help labs start getting more digital work, really. Because, doctor comes out of school, they've got a mountain of debt already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And if they buy a practice, go ahead and add on to it. Oh, and now you want to go digital and spend $250,000?
Right.
I'm sorry, no thank you.
Yeah.
So, I think we've really created something awesome, a good way for these new doctors to get into this and to get digital work to the laboratory.
I agree.
Yep.
I think it's genius. And I'm glad you guys talked to us about it.
Me
set
too.
the record straight.
Yeah. And we're excited. I think we'll probably launch officially and have product in shelves and ready to roll in end of November, beginning of December is what we're shooting for. And again, we're dealing with what everybody else is in the world, and that's just supply chain.
Yeah.
Getting
it's all
all
sitting on a ship out in the ocean.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we obviously started the pot a little bit and got people thinking about it, and we're excited about that. And I think we've heard a ton of dentists and labs that now we've had those conversations with them going, that's a solution that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as when you hook these systems up and you sell them, the individual labs are first.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Evident is a sidebar.
Yeah.
Now, granted, a lot of the labs are going to send to are going to go to Evident anyway.
Yeah, I know. That happens. That's
exactly a lot of
right.
labs use them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just whatever. But as long as the focus is keeping our industry alive, it's all good.
We just wanted to make sure that, we didn't provide a doctor with this digital solution and them not have someone right off the bat to send to.
Hopefully they're going to use our materials and continue to move forward with it. I mean, that's the goal. We want to set them up for success.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Beautiful.
We want to train them properly. We want to give them the time to be able to learn the system and not get frustrated with it, not getting to a point where like, oh, my gosh, I don't know if I can get this done. We want them to walk away from this feeling like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And set them up for success, like I said.
Good.
It sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, I agree. I'm super glad you guys sat down with us. I like it.
I
it's
think
great.
a lot of people were what?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
And
it happens with everything.
Yeah.
But you always have the pot stirs, and it's nice to set the record straight.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having us on.
Yeah.
and talk about it.
Yeah.
It's always good to
And
catch
great
up.
meeting, by the way. This is
Thank
my
you.
first one.
Oh, is it
and I love
really?
it. Yeah.
It's
been amazing.
It's only going to get bigger from here. Truly.
Yeah.
It just every year it just blows my mind. Like, we have such good people in this industry, and I just try not to take that for granted, especially like after the last year and a half.
Oh God.
Like to like see everybody here again has just been like, it's been a little emotional, you know. It's been it's just been awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for coming.
You think about the competition that's in the room. Everybody's here to help each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's so unique. I didn't come from dental. We would go to trade shows, and if we were stuck next to a certain person, it was like war.
Yeah.
You know? But here
we've heard this.
How can we help each other?
Yes.
How can we make each other successful? And I think that's
even
so
labs
unique.
too. Like, you know, we might have 2 labs here that are in the same town, and you know, it's not like a necessarily like a cutthroat thing or anything like that. It's we're all in this together, and that's one of the most amazing things about this.
Yeah,
industry,
one of my
which I
biggest
love.
competition is in this room when I was in a lab. We're good friends.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I flew with somebody at DDS Clearwater, and we just interviewed him. So I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are probably big competitors.
Yeah, big time, but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's great.
So.
They should be. Well, thanks again,
Well,
guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you so
Bryce,
much.
appreciate
All right.
it.
Stick around here. We're looking forward to seeing you some more.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Whitmix, known today for its digital equipment and materials, has always been known for decades as the leader in occlusion products with its Whitmix, Hanau, and Denar articulators and face bows. The most popular of these is the Denar Mark 300 series articulator. These popular semi-adjustable instruments are engineered for superior performance and tested thoroughly based on proven methodology. They bring a new standard of interchangeability with factory-set accuracy within 20 microns. With their sleek ergonomic design and powdered-coated finish, these articulators have a contemporary look that is as durable as it is aesthetically pleasing. The Denar Mark 320 articulator features adjustable condyle inclination with 0 to 60 degrees and progressive side shift fixed at 15 degrees. The Denar Mark 300 comes complete with dust cover, 10 magnetic mounting plates, instructions, and standard black carrying case. Head over to whitmix.com to order one today. And as always, we appreciate your support of the podcast, Whitmix.
So guys, have you seen the high prices of precious metal these days? They are close to record highs on gold and palladium.
We know that you are using less precious metals in your lab these days, but if you send in half of what you sent in 5 years ago, your scrap return will be higher than it was 5 years ago.
Because of the high PM prices, you owe it to yourself to find a trusted, reputable refining company. Look no further. Colzer Refining has been tested, trusted, and reputable for over 100 years.
They burn, melt, and assay all under one roof at their state-of-the-art refining facility in Wardburg, Tennessee.
They have doubled their production capacity to ensure your scrap return within 2 weeks. They use an ICP for their assay technique with the fire assay method if needed as well.
With all the non-precious material that has become present in today's restorations, it is important that we ensure the assay sample is homogeneous.
At Colzer, they take the extra step to x-ray the top and the bottom after they melt the bar to make sure the precious metal percentages are the same. If not, copper is added until they are positive and the bar is homogeneous. They know that this step is very important to get a precise assay result.
Their reimbursement to the customer is after their 10% refining fee. They have 0 additional fees. If you need any free shipping containers, which contain a UPS prepaid, fully insured label, please visit mydental360.com/refining
or call the Director of Precious Metal Refining, our friend Tony Cercelli, directly at 914-906-1843.
So collect those vacuum bags, floor sweeps, miscast, and spills, and get the best scrap return in the industry with Colzer Refining.
Tested, trusted, and honest.
And we appreciate your support of the podcast, Colzer.
Super happy to talk to Ann, Pat, and Bryce for sitting down with us at the pre-booth, which Lord only knows we have to mention that, at the Whip-Mix Digital Forum. The Steinbach family has a legendary name in our industry, and it was really, really great to hear some of the history, the current CEO, tour guide with Ann, and all of the culture. We also appreciate, definitely a big buzz, Pat and Bryce, for coming on the podcast to kill the rumors about their new Vera 1 Digital. That was awesome, too. So just think, if they can get a few more doctors getting into a digital scanning, maybe, just maybe, we can get closer to not pouring models. And that isn't such a bad thing. So remember, head over to voicesfromthebench.com or on one of Elvis's social media pages to get a Dare to Say No to Bad Impression shirt. You got a long sleeve, regular shirt, or a hoodie, and 100% of the profits will be donated to the Foundation for Dental Technology. And if you do get a shirt, please take a picture of yourself and send it to voicesfromthebench.com so we can post it.
Absolutely, and they should be arriving just in time for all the new next year's meetings.
Sweet. Well done, partner. He's the smart one, y'all. I already know you guys know that, but he's the smart one. Move along.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm not doing these 3 times. I'm just telling you that.